This one's very noticeable to all, though.
I have one of those on my iPad.
Yes. What? Oh, hello. Thank you. Hello. I did. I heard home on the range plane. I don't. Maybe I'm just not loud. Hello. I'm just gonna project for a little bit. Welcome to Triple UF, and if you would all please gather in our shared sacred space, and we can quiet down. Thank you. Hello. I already did the welcome. So, my name is Chloe McElroy. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. And I am about 5'5" with fiery red long hair. And I am wearing a red romper with white vertical stripes along it. And for those who cannot see me, it will be your service leader for today. I want to welcome you. Possibly. Give me 1 minute. You're welcome to be here in this moment with me as we fix our technical difficulties. I think you can hear me a little louder now, hopefully. I would like to welcome you here to our shared sacred space. We are, for those who are here in person, oh, there I am. I'm good at projecting, but that kind of helps. I just got to the point where we say, I want to welcome you here and to those who are also online. So now my online here. Please take a moment now to silence any doodads or whatever you might have on you that makes noise that's electronic and can be controlled. We normally start all of our services with committee moments. So I'd be happy to have anybody who needs to share anything to come up here for our committee moments.
Greetings, everyone. David McElroy. Tomorrow night is the men's support group here at the church for men and those identifying as men. It's at 6:30. It's potluck, and you can bring your own. The other thing is next month is the men's group's 20th year of operation. I'm very surprised myself because I don't feel a day over 20 myself.
Of course.
So anyway, we're going to have next month, I'm going to ask that the pictures of people who have departed will be put up. And then I'm going to try to create a list of men that were either have been in it or are in it now. So I'll have that available as well, just so that you know who. When we first started in August of 1996, is that right? Anyway, whenever 95, excuse me. There was 12 men there at that, and we were over at the Mexican restaurant. So we finally moved over here because you can only eat so much Mexican food. So anyway, tomorrow night 6:30, and Marilyn's not here, and I think Margie's not here. I think the women's group is tomorrow night here as well.
Which one? The support group?
The support group.
Ah, yes.
Here in the sanctuary, and the men's group will be back in the library area. Okay. Oh, that's potluck also. I'm sorry.
We all love potluck.
Say something, but I just thought I would say. There you go.
I just want to follow up on what David said. The men's group is really good. I very much enjoy it. Look forward to it every month. But I'm here to talk about inquiring minds. We just had our meeting this morning at 9 o'clock, and good time was had by all. But because of the scheduling conflicts, the next inquiring mind meeting will be next Sunday at noon, and I will be facilitating a discussion on the intersection between empathy and compassion. We're all confronted with our own empathy regarding what's going on in the world. How do we manage that? How do we find healthy ways to manage our empathy. So that's what we're going to be talking about next week. And I hope you'll consider joining us after the service at noon next Sunday.
Good morning, everyone. Miguel Rodriguez from Social Action Committee. If you're feeling kind of blue and you don't know what to do, that rhymes. But yes, if you, that's right, Lindsay. So yeah, if you want to take some action, kind of frustrated with what's going on in the world, in your own community, Social Action Committee is for you. So in 2 Sundays from now, we'll be having our meeting at noon, typically in the library and also online on Zoom. So we welcome everybody. Please join.
Thank you for that setup. Today, after service, we have a session on avoiding burnout. And of course, if you're going to take social action, which many of us want to do, you should be well-grounded in order to do that. And so this is for people who are distressed about the state of the world, who are just overwhelmed with things in personal life. This is for all the things. This is about how we can together take care of ourselves and each other for the long haul. So hope you can join us today. We'll be in the library.
And I will also be in the library, because burnout is literally my middle name. I just wanted to take a time to go over the exits with y'all. I meant to do that earlier. We do have the exit through which you came, which is, I'm assuming you came this way. It's okay if you didn't. We have the exit right over here where Joey's waving her arms, lovely. And then we have the exit back to the Memorial Garden that way. We do have an exit out into the RE area back this way. And then right behind me we do have an exit, but in an emergency situation, try using all other exits first, because this one has lots of cords and trip hazards, and it might be locked. But try the other ones first. And just an announcement, we're still in flu season, cold season. COVID's still a thing, even though it's less of a thing, but it's still a thing. And RSV still exists. So just, make sure that if you're not feeling well and you're not feeling good, you come and join us online. We have a lovely online community that comes almost every week. And, or you could just join on YouTube if you're not feeling like chit-chatting. But we do welcome you to stay home, keep your lovely cold and germs at home, and then we'd be happy to have you back when you are feeling better. My opening words this morning are coming from Reverend Kathy and I working together to create something. First, I wanted to give you a little introduction that Reverend Kathy wrote. Today we are considering some of our national texts. We open with a symbol. The Statue of Liberty was dedicated on October 28, 1886. A gift from France, her name where there is liberty enlightening the world. That's her name there in France. I'm just gonna follow this, hold on. Fashioned as a Roman goddess of liberty, libertas, sorry. She holds a torch above her head in her right hand. Her left hand carries a tablet, July 4th, 1776, in Roman numerals. With her left foot, she steps on a broken chain and shackle, commemorating the national abolition. Sorry, I didn't practice these, and you can tell. Commemorating the national abolition of slavery following the American Civil War. Her cry, inscribed at the base, is not just a reminder to our nation, but a challenge to each of us. You put love at the center as we navigate this wondrous gift that is life. And we wanted to also share Emma Lazarus's poem called The New Colossus. You may recognize its title because it is the words from the Statue of Liberty. Not like the brazen giant of Greek flame, with conquering limbs astride from land to land. Here at our sea-washed sunset gates shall stand a mighty woman with a torch, whose flame is the imprisoned lightning, and her name Mother of Exiles. From her beacon hand glows worldwide welcome, her mild eyes command. The air-bridged harbor that twin cities frame. Keep ancient lands your storied pomp, cries she, with silent lips. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. The wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed, to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. Our opening music today is Love Will Guide Us. It will be performed by our congregation and led by Paula. It does say, led by Paula and E.T., sorry. We have our lovely accompanist today. I never know how to say that word. So I'm going to welcome Paula up.
So stand as you're willing and able, please. Guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. If you cannot sing like angels, if you cannot speak before thousands, you can give from deep within you. You can change the world with your love. Love will guide us. Peace has tried us. Hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night.
That is definitely one of my favorites. Our chalice lighter today is Alice. She uses she, her pronouns and is 9 years old. She's excited that her mom is at church and that she's teaching the RE lesson today. That's very exciting. Here we go. And please join with me for our words. In the light of truth, in the warmth of love, we gather to seek, to sustain, and to share. We like to affirm our time together. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth and love, and to help one another. We'd like to welcome any visitors who are joining us this morning. We are a congregation and we have a wide variety of speakers that come and talk to us every week. Some examples are maybe professors from UCF, Seminole State, Valencia, Rollins. We have a lot of colleges surrounding us. We also have different speakers from different religions, people from our congregation. We also have a consulting minister, Reverend Kathy, who is speaking with us today, and all sorts of others. We do suggest that you come at least 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, forever, however you'd like, to see all of our different topics and just to get a taste of what we're like before you really decide on whether or not you want to hang out with us. But the people will definitely make you want to stay. And since, we're talking about the congregation and how loving and welcoming it is, why don't you go ahead and say hi to your neighbor? What does a waterfall sound like? Paula said she was just getting started, so everybody find her later and talk to her. There will be more time for coffee and conversation and talking to Paula, and coffee and tea and snacks after the service. The mic is already in the center. Thank you, Patrick. Right, so now we're going to move on to joys and concerns. We just want to let you know that since we do have our service going out online, that maybe don't share anything that you wouldn't want it shared with the entire internet. But please come up and share any joys and concerns with us today. And I can bring the mic to you if you raise your hand.
Joey Cole. I just want to, I'm so excited about this, a little apprehensive. I got a phone call this week that my husband's in a nursing home, and his brother called us. I've been bugging his brother since he went into the home that he really needs to get down here to see his brother, and so finally he called and gave me 2 weeks notice, so that's something. I thought it would be a little more give and take on that, but that's okay. I'm just so happy that he's coming, and I know my husband is really excited about it too. So I may need to rearrange my kitchen schedule. Where's Jill? I just want you to know, because that's the Sunday I signed up for is the day they're going to be here, so I don't know that I'll be here. All right, thank you.
Well, a lot of you know that my vocation is teaching people how to meditate. And these are very trying times, as I've said many times here before. Last Wednesday night, at our usual Wednesday night meeting, there were more people there than ever before, in person and via Zoom. And yesterday, I led a one-person retreat, and there were 27 folks there, more than ever before. So hopefully, the word's getting out that there's a way to manage the stress and confusion that we're all confronted with these days. And very much in line with what I think Reverend Kathy's going to be talking about this afternoon after the service, about how do we cope? How do we keep moving forward? So just wanted to share that joy with you.
My name is John Saccone. I've only been coming here about 6 months, but I have to have a stint put in at the end of this month, and someone here had that done, so I'm a little bit upset about it, but I'm okay, you know what I mean? If it's my time, it's my time. So that's about it. Also, when I joined, I met somebody, but I haven't ever seen him ever come back. So, looking at the camera, thank you very much for your help, and that's it.
Pastoral care here. I just wanted to, that joy is that Marcia is out of the hospital and she's been moved to a rehab facility near where her son lives in Palm Coast. So that's good. That's progress, and I'm hoping she will make a lot of progress and then maybe decide to make a change in her life so we don't have to worry so much about her. And again, the basket over there, if anybody wants us to write a card, I don't know her address at the place she is, but I'll find it. And if you want to write a card and hand it to me, I'll make sure she gets it. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Layla, and I have a concern. Had a death in the family funeral was yesterday. Young man was very young, in his 20s. Left behind a family of 2 young girls. My family is pretty devastated. I want to thank Lindsay for me. She made the trip with me all the way to Melbourne, which is a long way away. But anyway, my family, there's some members that are just torn up. So I ask for good thoughts for them.
My joy is that everyone's giving compliments about my bag.
It's a great bag.
I'm going to Sissy this week.
My joy is that I had a week in Pennsylvania at our old cabin and saw all kinds of relatives, including, and it was hot up there, but anyway, I saw all kinds of relatives, including 2 of my 3 brand new great nephews and nieces, so that was fun.
Hi, my name is Maddie Packham, and the reason why my parents are not here is because, one, they're helping move my sisters out of their apartment to move back home, and also my sister Olivia took the MCAT yesterday, and she felt like she did really well.
I have a giant joy. I have a friend that has had a hard time getting pregnant. She had many miscarriages, and they were finally able to conceive a baby, and we just found out that she's having a girl. So we're really excited for her, and it just makes me happy that, that she's getting something that she's wanted and desired for a long time. Why don't we go ahead and just take a couple moments of silence for the joys and concerns that weren't shared today, or the ones that we carry in our hearts. Thank you very much. I always kind of feel a little joy in my heart when I hear the little voices trying to be silent. It's very cute, and I love it. It makes that time a little more light for me. Now is the time for all ages. I don't see Tay here today, which makes me think that it's Reverend Kathy.
Thank you. And you can go to the next slide. So, a story that you've probably heard before, but it bears telling again. This version is by my colleague Barbara Hoke Gordon. Once there was an emperor who needed a new set of clothes to wear to the grand parade. He called 2 of his finest weavers to order one. They looked at each other and decided that this would be a chance to make a little extra money from the deal. "Oh, Emperor," they said, "we have invented the most marvelous cloth. It will cost you a little extra, but it is magic. It is so magic that people can't see it if they're stupid or lazy or not good at their job. So not only will your majesty look your absolute royal best, but you'll also be able to tell immediately who you should fire from their jobs. I've heard this story so many times, and yet. Okay, the emperor thought, I've been wondering who those people are, I'll take it. Off went the weavers to work, but oh, they were slow. The emperor sent in one of his wisest advisors to check on progress. When he got there, he saw two of them doing nothing at all. It looked like they were waving their hands back and forth in front of the loom, but there was no cloth coming out. But he didn't want the emperor to think he was dumb or lazy, so he rushed back and he said, "It's awesome, you'll love it." Finally, the day arrived and the weavers brought the suit to the emperor to try it on. I have it here in this bag. What do you think? It's pretty great, isn't it? Well, the emperor thought the same thing as his advisor. He felt a wave of panic. Oh no, am I one of the dumb, lazy people? He couldn't say that, so he asked them to help him put it on. He felt embarrassed when he looked in the mirror because in that kingdom it wasn't common to walk around naked, and it looked like he was wearing nothing at all. But the weavers pulled here and creased there, and they oohed and they eyed and they admired how wonderful it looked on him. And then it was time for the grand parade and the emperor's big entrance. Everyone cheered for the acrobats, the dancers, the horses, and then out came the emperor completely naked. And everyone got really quiet. And then someone said, "Huzzah for the emperor!" And another person said, "He looks like a new man." But one little boy said, "He's not wearing any clothes." And the parade stopped. Now, my colleague, Reverend Barbara, thinks we should make up the ending to the story. Does anybody have any ideas what happened next? Yes, Alice.
So what I think happened next was that he would get embarrassed and run back into his place, and probably get the people who gave him to him back and probably put them in a dungeon or something.
Oh, okay. So
I could see an emperor
thank
doing
you,
that.
thank you, Alice.
Anybody
Okay.
else?
Anyone else? Oh, Peter has an idea.
I got it.
It's obviously the greatest suit that ever came in the world.
Thank you. Thank you. Glad you understand.
The emperor ordered everyone to take off their clothes.
Okay, well, what Reverend Barbara points out is you just don't know what's going to happen when you tell the truth. And that's why it's a brave thing to do. But it's always important to speak up. You might be interested in what the classical ending of the story is. I'm sure that many have evolved over time. But in the classical ending, the emperor shuddered, for he knew they were right, but he thought the procession must go on. And he carried himself even more proudly, and the chamberlains walked along behind carrying the train that wasn't there.
I gotta say, I don't think I've actually ever heard that story before, so that was super fun for me. We're now moving on to our interlude and offering. We share 40% of our plate with our local community. Our social action committee helps pick out who we send our profits to, and this month it's still going to Hope Community Chest. They are amazing and are very helpful. So we're gonna go ahead and do our interlude and offering song, which is something. And Gary's going to come up and lead it with E.T. There it is.
Right, so we'll get a short introduction. Just as long as I have breath, I must answer yes to life. Though with pain I made my way, still with hope I meet each day. If they ask what I did wrong, tell them I said yes to life. Just as long as vision lasts, I must answer yes to truth. In my dream and in my dark, always that elusive spark. If they ask what I did wrong, tell them I said yes to truth. Just as long as my heart beats, I must answer yes to love. Disappointment pierced me through, till I kept on loving you. If they ask what I did wrong, tell them I said yes to love.
I heard a pretty awesome mom is leading RE today, so if there are anyone who wants to go out for RE, we'll do our children's recessional. We love you and bless you and send you on your way. We love you and bless you today and every day. I forgot my computer. I pretty much know what's coming next, but it's still nice. Today, I will like to introduce our consulting minister, Reverend Kathy Schmitz, to speak about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Welcome up.
All right, so we're going to talk about a journey today, a journey that started long ago before all of us. It was a crazy idea, going off the well-worn paths of human history. It required a revolution. Although the Revolutionary War lasted 8 years, starting with the Battle of Lexington and Concord in 1775, and ending with the Treaty of Paris in 1783, we mark the birth of our nation by the Declaration of Independence made on July 4th, 1776. So I would note that as of 10 days ago, we are now in our 250th year. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all people are created equal, that they are endowed with their Creator with certain unalienable rights, and among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Now, of course, I've changed a word because we've changed. All people. We've evolved in our understanding. It has been 249 years, after all. Our country's founders, like us, were imperfect human beings, and they suffered from a myopia reflective of the times in which they lived. This grand experiment that started with a revolution became one of evolution and change, of knowing that we don't yet have it right, and of living with the mystery of advancing this project as best we can in spite of that. Now, once our independence was secured, the adventurers drew up the document that would guide their onward journey. They prefaced it with words of inspiration so that they and those who follow would remember why they were taking this journey, embarking on this grand experiment in democracy, an experiment that was bold and audacious and at the same time soaringly idealistic and deeply flawed. They wrote, "We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution of the United States of America. Generations of school children have memorized those words. Some of you were saying them along with me. The preamble is one of the sacred texts of American civil religion. The U.S. Constitution was adopted in 1787 and ratified nearly a year later in 1788. It created our government and, for generations, continued to define powers and protect rights. The main document is the stuff of constitutional scholars, and I apologize in advance to any such scholars in the room. Because while the preamble does not have technical legal standing, I would claim it is our North Star. It is our why. And we need that guiding star, that why, now more than ever. It is what can help us as we continue on our ever-unfolding adventure. It can help us know when we have wandered off onto ill-advised paths that might tempt us along the way. It can help us understand when our adventure has become misadventure, and hopefully it can keep us moving when we get discouraged. Our North Star calls us to our best selves in much the same way as our religious tradition and our congregations can. Not surprisingly, Unitarian Universalists and other religious liberals often understand the aspirations of America as having a religious-like quality. Both sides of our tradition, in the forms that we know them today, significantly evolved around the time of the American Revolution. Both Unitarianism and Universalism grew up alongside America and were influenced by many of the same thought trends. All were birthed in a world of emerging ideas, ideas around democracy, ideas around liberty and justice and common good, ideas many of us have come to consider fundamental, but which were at one time radical. Sadly, alarmingly, they are coming to be considered radical once again. At this crossroad in the adventure, we are becoming increasingly aware of some of the shortcomings of our founders and the path they laid out. We recognize their limited thinking, for example, around equality of race and gender and economic status. We notice that the guardrails that we thought would keep us safe are not as sturdy as we imagined. We have taken some forks in the road that do not seem to serve us. As some of you know, I'm a co-president of the Orange County League of Women Voters, and I, in June, attended the annual council for the National League of Women Voters. It was a weekend of considering deeply what it means that back in April, the National League declared a constitutional crisis. 3 months ago, the declaration that they made included the statement, "The foundational principles that have sustained our democracy, checks and balances, the rule of law, free and fair elections, are under direct and sustained attack." The League of Women Voters was founded by the suffragettes in 1920, just as women were getting the right to vote. It has the it has the radical mission, ready for this, to empower voters and defend democracy. Recognizing our desire for a pluralistic, multiracial democracy, attendees at the council spent a full day engaged in racial equity training. You know, diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI. The world we dream of will not be creating itself, and we know we have much to learn. So here we are, as a nation stumbling down a road which we did not intend and which looks increasingly treacherous. And rather than stay on a path that does not suit us, we are called to raise our gaze and look at our guiding stars and redraw the map. Fortunately, the itinerary we inherited allows for change. The United States Constitution has how many amendments? 27, very good. I'm impressed. That was closer than I would have gotten. One of those 27 undid a previous amendment. So there have been some detours along the way. Imperfect human beings like us, our founders left us not a perfect system, but a way to continue the perfecting process. The preamble tells us that the why of the Constitution is to create a more perfect union. We've heard it so many times, we might not even have thought about it. More perfect? Isn't perfect like perfect? But there's always more room to grow, more room to improve. That was true then, and it's true now. So we are called to equip ourselves for the next phase of our adventure. Now, the week before the League Council, I attended the General Assembly, which is the annual gathering of Unitarian Universalists. This year it was in Baltimore. The theme for the gathering was Meet the Moment. There were many opportunities to consider what times like these ask of us and to learn skills and tools that will be needed. One of the speakers was Deepa Iyer, a South Asian American writer and advocate for justice. And she is the author of the 2025-2026 Unitarian Universalist Common Read. And so if anybody's interested in looking at that, I have a copy of it. It's published by Skinner House, which is one of our UU publishing houses. Based on her experience of community organizing, she lays out a social change ecosystem framework. And what's nice about it is that it includes opportunities to pause and reflect about your own role in these things. I obviously picked up a copy. I haven't had a chance to dive into it yet, but I encourage you. I did get to hear her speak. I also picked up a copy of her children's book, and it's called We Are Builders. I also recommend it for those of you with children in your lives, and actually for all of us. You know, it's always nice when somebody summarizes this in this. It lays out in simple terms the many roles that people can play when it comes to social change. She lists 10. You'll probably be able to think of more, and I'll share her list in a minute. These days, people ask me, both as a minister and as a league leader, what should I be doing? And here's what I say. We need all the things. So do what you can do with joy and enthusiasm, because it's a marathon, not a sprint. The thing you can do with joy and enthusiasm is a thing that you will be able to do for the long haul. It's the thing that will not only be useful, but also sustainable. It will enhance your life and your liberty and your pursuit of happiness. While we know that the price of freedom is eternal vigilance, in a marathon, pacing matters. And so I would suggest that when we think about the good life, what is the good life? Now and always, it will be a combination of enjoying life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness intertwined with our joyful and enthusiastic vigilance. So what should you do? That is for you to decide. It won't be the same for all of us. Did somebody want me to tell you what the answer was? Let me name some of the possibilities that Deepa Iyer mentions. See if one or more of these capture your imagination. So at times like this, we often think first of the disruptors, those who are willing to risk and challenge the status quo, disruptors. Sometimes we think of the frontline responders, those people who organize people and communications and resource. We need frontline responders. Then there are the builders, the people who bring ideas to life. And we also have the weavers who look for and create connections between places and organizations and ideas and movements, because we want to be working together. And we need those experimenters who innovate and are willing to try new things. And we need, of course, the visionaries who can imagine and articulate the direction of our North Star. And they're the gifts of the caretakers. These are often overlooked, but they're so critical. These are the people who nurture communities of care and joy and connections, such as this one. And the healers, who understand the pain of the world, often generational pain, and they tend to the trauma that it creates. And let's not underestimate the role of the storytellers, who lift up our community stories, cultures, experiences, histories, and possibilities through art and music and media and movement. And the last role named by Ayer is the guides, who teach and counsel and advise with discernment and wisdom. 10 roles. I'm sure you can think of more. These are just the bumper sticker versions of what each of these roles can be. You are the person who can know or can discover where your joy and enthusiasm lie. We don't all have to do all the things. The world has changed and the challenges have shifted, but I don't think the why has changed. I believe that the preamble still holds, and I believe it's worthy of our reflection. So I'd like to offer it now as a form of meditation. So let me read it through, and then we'll take it point by point for reflection. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. As we name each of these aspirations that come from our vision of a more perfect union, I invite you to consider, what do these words mean to you? Do you think that differs in any way from what it might have meant to the authors? How does it speak to the challenges that we have in our nation and our world today? How might they be supported by the roles we just heard from Ayer? And does it have meaning in our smaller groups as well, our congregations, our families, other groups to which we might belong? So let's consider the first aspiration: establish justice. What does that mean to you? And how has it evolved, not just in our nation, but in your mind? Establish justice. While our founders may have established clear ways to enact justice according to the prevailing views of their day, they did not have the vision to expand to include all people. Women, enslaved people, all classes. That has been and remains a long, slow evolution. As we continue our journey, how are we called to further establish justice? And what are you personally called to do? How does that first aspiration interact with our next, which is to ensure domestic tranquility? Ensure domestic tranquility. What does that mean to you? And how has it evolved, not just in our nation, but in your own mind? Domestic tranquility. It has been suggested that the founders were likely referencing their hope to keep the peace between the newly united states. There's lots of room to consider more broadly what it means to have peace. And it has become clear that true peace is impossible without true justice. Are we, who often prefer to avoid conflict, willing to live with the discomfort of hearing about and truly understanding where attempts to establish justice have fallen short. As we continue our journey, how are we called to ensure domestic tranquility? And what are you personally called to do? Our next aspiration is to provide for the common defense. What does that mean? How has it evolved not only in our nation, but in your own mind? Common defense. The world is a vastly different place now than it was in 1788. Communications, technology, as well as a growing human population and a changing geopolitical landscape are a few things. These are things that few, if any, could have imagined. Our world seems just bigger and smaller at the same time. So what does it mean to provide common defense in an uber-connected world? As we continue our journey, how are we called to provide for the common defense? And what are you personally called to do? And how does this interact with our next aspiration, to promote the general welfare? General welfare. What does that mean to you? How has that evolved, not just in our nation, but in your mind? General welfare. Are there, there are ways? Are there ways in which our desire to promote the general welfare, the common good, is sometimes in tension with our attitude of defense? How do we care for an expanding and diverse population with finite resources? What are the tensions that arise? As we continue our journey, how are we called to promote the general welfare? And what are you personally called to do? The final aspiration is to secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. What does this mean to you? How has it evolved not only in our nation, but in your mind? Like justice, our founders' views on liberty were myopic, and they have expanded. History has rarely looked kindly on our attempts to shrink circles of liberty. Instead, we celebrate the anniversaries of times when freedom was expanded. Over 2.5 centuries, more people can vote, more people can marry, can make choices about their own bodies and their own lives. And yet, we find some among us who would like to reverse this trend. And so it seems there is more perfecting to do. As we continue our journey, how are we called to secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity? And what are you personally called to do? So all the way through, one more time. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Our founders were describing their why, the reason that they set out on this perilous journey, which we now continue. The values and visions they articulated in the preamble to the United States Constitution can still speak to us today as individuals, as a nation, as organizations, and perhaps as the world. They can speak to us, and they can challenge us to continue the perfecting process. You know, sometimes when something particularly egregious happens, we hear people say, "We're better than this." And sometimes comes the response, "Are we?" Clearly, as a nation, we are still capable of making some choices which are not in keeping with our highest values. It may not be accurate to say we are better than this. But I do so believe that we must make the choice to say we can become better than this, and then commit to doing the work to make it so. We can become better than this. Our aspirations are beautiful. They can guide us as a North Star, even though we will never reach perfect. Our journey is not finished, and there is no shame in admitting that we are not done. The question given to us is, how will we be better? How will we be better? How can we continue the perfecting process, the audacious journey begun so many years ago? Still and always in process, still and always requiring something of we, the people, still and always counting on us. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Kathy. There's definitely lots to think about, for sure. Our closing music. We extinguished our chalice first. Just kidding. We're going to extinguish the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not. Now for our closing music. This is my song. It's going to be performed by our congregation and led by Gary and E.T.
Please stand if you're willing and able, and we'll have a short introduction. This is my song, O God of all the nations, a song of peace for lands afar and mine. This is my home, a country where my heart is. Here are my hopes, my dreams, my holy shrine. But other hearts in other lands are beating with hopes and dreams as true and high as mine. My country's skies are bluer than the ocean when sunlight beams on clover, leaf, and pine. But other lands have sunlight too, and clover, and skies are everywhere as blue as mine. Oh, hear my song, thou God of all the nations, a song of peace for their land and for mine.
For my closing words today, I think that Reverend Kathy and I had some same things in mind. I actually chose a July 4th meditation that is from the UUA by Maureen Killoran. Now, obviously, if you'd like to close your eyes, you can, but you don't have to. It's just make sure that you got all those listening ears on. Spirit of life and love, I come before you, black and brown and red and yellow and alabaster. All over the place. I come longing for the simpler days that are truly never wear our lot, and I am an American. Hear these voices, as in complexity of our days, I am humanist and Christian and Muslim and Jew, pagan and atheist and Buddhist and UU, and I am an American. I am one who fought for my country, and I am at the same time one who protested war, and I am an American. Amongst the divisions of our days, I've struggled in poverty, and I've accepted the profits of wealth, and I am an American. I am an owner of weapons, and I am one who would control our nation's guns by limiting whose and what's and how's, and I am an American. As light is shown on our divisions, I live with often unacknowledged privilege and moved to a range at the complexity of interesting oppressions, and I am an American. In the challenge of our days, I am one who supports my country, right or wrong, and I am one who claims the traditions of dissent, and I am an American. In this polarized season, I am Democrat and I am Republican. I am libertarian and I am independent. I am green and I am confused, and I am an American. Spirit of hope, sit with us in our diversities. Help us hear one another in our divisions. Grant that, beginning in this community, we may honor one's other truths and know that a just and faithful tomorrow begins here in our hearts. For with all our problems, with all our pain, with all of our limitations and mistakes, we are Americans. We are going to have a postlude from E.T. Go now in peace and coffee and conversation and conversations with Paula.
You gotta get so many things. It's perfect.